Dave Costa. I work on platform at Cloudflare. We help make the internet a better place. I've also helped spread the $3, $4 website through cPanel and many other things. But I'm just a guy from Delaware with a computer. It really started in high school. So my brother really picked up a big interest in programming, and he was working on a lot of stuff at school, and he met this guy in Jersey and ended up working for his web hosting firm at the time, which was just like in a strip mall, a bunch of computers in the attic. And you know, at that time, everything about hosting was manual, right? It was opening up a text file and putting configuration data in there. And so my brother said, look, there has to be a faster way, right? So he started writing all these scripts to just automate things. And eventually it was like, well, why don't I just make it point and click? And it just evolved from there. And he started showing it to other people that did what he did. And they said, like, wow, that's great. Like, you know, can I use that? And he said, well, like, how much money are you gonna give me? You know, and it just like organically grew into that. And then, you know, he just called me one day when I was in college and said, like, hey, I need somebody to help me out. You wanna help? And I was like, that's my brother, I've gotta help. We focused on this very niche thing, right, which is Linux shared web hosting, right? And became really great at that. And by understanding what a shared web host wanted and making up products specific to them, we were able to, you know, become the market leader because we weren't trying to be everything to everyone. The company actually grew really slow. So from 97 to 2001, it was mostly just Nick. We had maybe 4 years later, 12 people, and we were doing, like, it was a really big deal when we hit $1 million in annual revenue in like 2004, right? Which was 7 years after we started. But then from 1 million to like 50 million was just super rapid because we spent so much time just understanding what people wanted, that when it came out of the gates, it was just, you know, it was the right fit for the market. The biggest lesson I learned is that your product is more than your product. And so this was an easy lesson to learn, right? So at the heart of cPanel, we made you be able to be a Linux system administrator without knowing Linux. And as such, when anything broke down behind the scenes, which it did unfortunately very too often, we had to come in and fix it. And so we created this policy very early on that there was no limit to what the support that we would provide was, because we realized that by making you not a Linux sysadmin, that we had to be your Linux sysadmin. And that wasn't just through the product, but it was also through being hands-on with phone calls and support, right? And so it was that entire relationship that you had with us as a company that was our product, and not just the code or the UI that we would ship to you. We take it for granted now, but at the time it was a little bit difficult and expensive to get a website, right? And so being able to share the ability to create and give websites to the world and make websites $4 a month, right, is awesome. Like, you know, there's so much content and freedom now on the web, and, you know, thankfully we've played some role in, you know, albeit small role in that, but some role in that. You know, getting to experience a really interesting industry, right? Web hosting is not this incumbent industry. It's a lot of, like, at the time it was a lot of young kids out of dorm rooms, or, you know, people who just decided to throw up a company. And so, like, experiencing that whole just Wild West industry was amazing. For me, the hardest thing to do is nothing, right? Because I've seen the ability to shift things, right? I've seen the ability to, a couple of guys from Delaware, right, move to the Poconos, create some software, spawn all these hosting companies, right? Or, you know, guys like Elon Musk, who builds an amazing car that everyone says he couldn't build, and sends rockets to the space station, and like Facebook connecting the world, or all these amazing companies that people just willed into existence. Like, for me, there is nothing else, right? Like, if you see something that's wrong with the world, you have to go change it because you can. And there just is no other belief for me.